Hello and welcome back to Unleash Your Inner Athlete. Now, today is the episode for you if you're interested in strength, resilience, improving your mobility, and of course, you're in keeping your independence. Now, believe it or not, they predict by 2050 that 2 billion people will be 65 and over, with mobility being a precursor to decline. Now, if you lose your mobility, you're going to lose your quality of life and your independence. And if you don't want that for yourself, you want to do everything to prevent that, while as well preventing problems such as stroke, diabetes, cancer, injuries, all these kinds of things. This is the episode for you, and my guest is going to be perfect for you to listen to today. Now, he is a distinguished physiotherapist. He was an officer in the military with their medical centres. He oversaw 100 medical centres in that position. He completed a thesis on pain-related fear of movement, and he is the pioneer of the training technology called resistance Pilates, which is a fusion between Tai Chi and Pilates for rehabilitation fitness. So I'd like to welcome to the show, Sean Searight. Welcome, Sean. Thank you to the show today. I'm so grateful that you're here.
Thank you.
You are going to be sharing all your knowledge and information, a little bit about your own story and how you came up with this new type of technology and why it's important. And then later on, we're going to show them how to use it and how it's going to be effective as we get older, particularly when it comes to even simple things just like our fitness. Yep. So, but before we get into that, your military background obviously plays a huge part in what you do now as a physiotherapist and helping people with their health and fitness. So explain a little bit to us how that sort of came about.
Well, yep, goes back quite a bit, Julia. I first joined the army as a young officer, aged 21, and I was in tanks for 10 years. And then when I left at the age of about 31, I decided to go and read physiotherapy. I wanted to sort of go into the caring and repairing profession, if you like, for better use of the word. So I did the degree, and then I uncannily joined the army again, but this time into the Royal Army Medical Corps. And I had a fantastic 17 years in the Medical Corps, rehabilitating all our injured soldiers, sailors and airmen. And it's been a real privilege to work in that sphere, because a lot of them are quite young, many injuries, some severe, of course. And it just gave me a lot of, I think it really opened my eyes to see what soldiers have to put up with, how they can retain their fitness, how they can repair themselves. And they need a lot of help, but they're so determined. And certainly when I was at Headley Court, which is where a lot of the injuries ended up after serious operations, and some serious injuries going back there, it was very humbling to see them recover with a really good team behind me who knew their rehabilitation, and to see them recover. And that really inspired me to bring out a new exercise as I left the army, and share it with everyone, not just the injured personnel, but also the wider population group, and including strokes, wheelchair users, as well as those who really need some exercise as they age. And that's really it in a nutshell.
Well, I mean, this is it, because obviously being in the military, you have seen and experienced really extreme levels of trauma and how people recover from that. Because I think this is what's important to understand, that no matter what you're suffering, for many there is a way out. There is a way through this, and I think that, would you say that's unique about your experience in the military, because you've had to deal with those kind of traumas? That's been helpful in the sense of understanding, the body as we're aging as well, because obviously you deal a lot with the older generation in what you do.
Yeah, so I think we see it across all age groups. Some people age early on because of their injuries, and that aging process starts earlier with degeneration in the spine or any other joints as well. So some of these young service personnel presented with those sort of injuries from lots of marching with heavy weights, jumping on and off tanks, sporting injuries are quite common as well. But I think what I learned from it is that you can't just sit back and say, well, I'm injured now, or it's just age, and that's it. I've done my bit, and I'll just go and play golf or whatever it is. Nothing wrong with golf, of course. It's a great thing to carry on with.
Yeah.
But some people want to do a little bit more and be a bit more active at a younger age. So we as physios, certainly in the military, and I think across all of my profession, we like to promote function. We like to promote people to be functional and do their activities of daily living, whether that's painting and decorating the house, walking the dog, or whether it's going to a gym and doing high intensity training. And that's so we get the goals from our patients. We set targets for them. And I couldn't think of a better population group than the military to really try and achieve those targets and compete against each other in many ways. And that gave us an awful lot of satisfaction to see them go back to fight and do their jobs that they're paid to do.
But it's also about as because they're going to age like everybody else. It's how once that career over, how the rest of their life looks, and being able to maintain that a quality of life.
Absolutely,
that, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a career in the military will end sort of before you're sort of 50-ish for most people. And 50 is quite a young age now for this modern world. So there's an awful lot of years ahead to get involved with grandchildren and all those exciting things that come around the corner for us. And I think it's important that we sort of maintain our strength, we maintain our fitness, we keep the weight off, and we keep away those chronic diseases that creep up on us before we know it. And I think that's really important, no matter whether you've been in the services or you've been a civilian in a busy desk job.
I think you're absolutely right. And I think, I always think, training and resistance training, obviously there's been research on this as well, that resistance training, being strong, is even more important as we're getting older, because, as we, muscle decline goes off when we're about 35, but it really drops off significantly after 50. And that's when you become more at risk of things like stroke, diabetes, cancer, cardiovascular disease, all these things.
Yeah.
But it's more than just that. We come back to the mobility issue, because as you get older, the way you train, it may be different, but it's also got to be, as you say, functional to what you want to do with your life, and understanding where you want to go with your health, your wellness, your activity levels, what's going to suit you, and having something that's maybe simple and easy to use, and not get too caught up with, necessarily having to go to the gym and do sets and reps, and that may not be something that interests. For some it would be, but maybe for others it isn't. And it's, having something that's flexible, which I think is something you're offering.
Yes, it is. And you're right, going back to this sort of aging process. I mean, we lose muscle mass, as you said. We lose 10% of our muscle mass every 10 years as we age, if we're not in a busy physical job. And what that does is it doesn't support our joints anymore. And therefore we lose our strength. And then we're then susceptible to falls as well later on in life. And so it's really important we keep strong, we keep agile, flexible. We retain our balance. That's something else we need to look at as well. And get those activities back so we can actually really be busy physically in our lives and not just be sedentary. As I've said many a time in a few sort of scenarios, that, the modern man is the Homo sedens, i.e. the seated man. We're no longer Homo sapiens, the wise man. We're just sat down all the time in this awful posture. And we put on weight, and we'd never really have time for the gym. I mean, come New Year, everyone's going to sign up for a gym and have their sort of their epiphany to get fit again. But many won't do it, and some actually will pay a bill and probably won't turn up very often. So everyone's got good intentions, but they don't have time to go and do something that they really should be doing.
Yeah. And the thing is, this, like I say, another reason why this, I was actually reading some interesting stats which surprised me about, resistance training, where it can benefit, particularly when it comes to something like stroke. That apparently for every, I think I've got the stat here, I have to have a look. So for 1 kilogram of grip strength, so every increase in grip strength reduces your stroke rate by up to 12%, which is significant. And then they also said that if your standing balance, you get a 1 point rise in your standing balance, that can reduce your risk by up to 55%.
Yep, absolutely. And the research is showing, a lot of very good, strong research is showing that, grip strength is related to, premature death. Not that should alarm anyone, but it actually, if you're strong and it's demonstrated by grip strength, that will just relate better to function, that you're more active. You're less likely to break something if you fall. all these indicators, and the research backs it up. I mean, there's a lot of research to say about bone density as well, certainly with women as they have the menopause as well.
Yeah.
And I find a lot of people who come to my classes are predominantly women in their 50s to 60s. And they love doing their exercise. They're very keen on it. They do Pilates, yoga, and many other exercises. But what I'm finding is that they're really enjoying getting stronger with this new concept I've been bringing along, which is wrapping everything up in one. To remain agile and to test their balance as well. That's so important.
Yeah, and it's interesting you say women, because I mean I would kind of agree that for a long time, particularly women of my generation, it was kind of, early on, but look back to the 80s and 90s, sort of well, in the 90s, women started to really get more into their strength training and going to the gym a bit more. But prior to that,
you look too young to have been in that era there, Julia.
But I am. I've been going to the gym for well over 36 years or whatever it is. So
yeah, great.
I sort of praise myself for taking it up. Well, even not that early. I was about 25 when I took up going to the gym and weight training, and I really loved it. But I do think that has been a really good foundation for me as I've got older as well. But I think a lot of women were always a little bit hesitant. They felt going to the gym, lifting weights, A, wasn't very interesting, and B, it was kind of, they worried about building up bulk. But actually, it really is important the earlier you start.
Yes.
And as you say, as you go through that menopause thing, then everything changed, because men, I think, generally are more sort of, I want to go down the gym, I want to get strong, I want to get muscular. They're a bit more proactive when it comes to those things, whereas women tend to go to aerobics classes, maybe go for runs, and all those kinds of things. So I think it's really interesting that what you're doing is sort of taking it out of the gym, but making it kind of fun as well, because it's really interesting. I want to really find out where you came up with this fusion between Tai Chi and Pilates, because Pilates and Tai Chi are two things that women do a lot. I mean, we're not just talking about women here, it's for everybody.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Firstly, back to the gymnasium. I think a lot of people, whether they're women or men, predominantly women that I would suggest, don't really want to go to the gym and smash out weights alongside some of the boys. Now, we see a younger population doing that all the time, and great to see them do it. But some of the women, as they age and they've had some children and they're busy, don't have time for the gym, or don't want to be seen in a gym, or can't afford the gym. And they've got child minding to worry about, pets at home, all sorts of things going on. So it's important that we can bring exercise to their home, or they can jump in a class now and again where they feel a bit more comfortable. So that's very important, that we can actually say you don't have to go to a gym, but you can do something at home as well. But the question about where the fusion between Pilates and Tai Chi started is an interesting one, because I did a Tai Chi course back in 2015, a very basic one-day course for physiotherapists, and I loved it. And it was just a sort of shibashi course, which is a part of Tai Chi. There's so many disciplines of Tai Chi, a very respected discipline. And I used it on my rehab patients when I got back, while I was working with the Royal Navy as a physio. And they loved it. They thought it was great. But as they progressed, they wanted to load up and get stronger with it. So little weights were trialed, gripping weights in the hand and barbells and things like that. I came up with a better idea, which was actually to wrap resistance bands around their hand, in the web of their hand, and put a loop around their foot. And then they could actually use the Tai Chi moves by having their hand open without gripping onto something. And also, of course, when people grip onto bands, it snaps out of your hand and hit someone. So we made it safe. We tied it on there, but it was uncomfortable. So I designed a glove and a foot strap, and I've been using it on the civilian population group over the last year. And it's gone down really well, because people don't have to worry about bands coming off. And we're fusing the Tai Chi moves because of the bands, which is very slow time under tension moves, where you're just pulling your arm away very slowly and upwards and into different directions. And your feet are moving slowly as well, with a bit of Pilates. And the Pilates is classic moves there blended in with it. But a lot of my moves are I've created myself, which I know will benefit people as a physiotherapist. So as a physio, I know that rotator cuff a problem with the shoulder here. It's quite common with people. So we try and strengthen rotator cuff by coming up into what we call external rotation here. And then we hold the bands here, and then we might come up and add a bit of a lever on at the top. And then we might rotate the spine at the same time in the neck. So I've created a lot of extra exercises, which is why it's not Pilates, it's not Tai Chi. They're great disciplines. I don't want to steal their thunder, but they definitely have a role to join in with this. It is resistance Pilates. It's something completely different, designed by a physio. And it's gone down quite well at the moment. So we're sort of launching it in studios now, and I'm training instructors up now who are accredited with SIMSPA. So we're looking to get it out nationally. So it's been a real fantastic journey.
Yeah, no, it sounds amazing. Because what I'm interesting, because obviously as you get older, you start to suffer with things like, frozen shoulder. You can get all sorts of impingement problems, degeneration in the joints. You get more a little bit, can be more kyphotic, particularly if you spent your life at a desk.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and that's a real problem. And I think with the exercises I've got on the program, a lot of it is towards extension. So because as we age, we tend to get to this C-shaped position where we're all hunched over, and we've got a dowager's hump at the back of our neck, and we've got a poking chin, and we've got backache, and sometimes we've got impingement of the shoulder from too much internal rotation of the mouse hand while we're working on computers. It's or if we're on a mobile phone. A lot of people are on social media, a lot just doing this. So that's not good. So these exercises I'm trying to do is to try and open up the extension pattern to reverse that sort of poor posture and to move around with it at the same time. So we're mobile. We're in standing for most of the exercises. There's some mat exercises, of course, but I like to promote standing because we as human beings are bipedal. We walk on two legs. So I like to get people off the mat. And actually, oddly enough, a lot of my population group who do the classes, some of the older population group, don't want to get on a mat and get off a mat because they find it uncomfortable, or they might have some bladder control getting on and off the mat as they age, and they like to stand. So I'm doing a functional, multi-directional exercise, which involves all the muscles activating at the same time, whether it's core, whether it's shoulders, back, knees, all in one move, which is multi-directional and compound, and of course, ultimately functional. And that's the beauty about it. So that's what we're rolling out now.
Exactly. I mean, this is what's so important, because we always sort of tend to think, a lot of people tend to think of every muscle works kind of in semi-isolation. But when it comes, particularly as we get on, and actually this isn't just something we use to help us when we're older, it's good for younger people to hear this. Yep. So they know what they need to be doing to prevent these things having to happen in future. But what I like is the fact that it becomes a full body integrated movement.
Yeah. And that's really important.
Yeah.
I think what tends to happen, we can go to gymnasiums and we can pick a program where we focus on biceps, for example, or we do triceps work. And that's great. You can isolate those muscle groups and do that. But a lot of people don't have time or don't know what they're doing unless they've got a personal trainer. But if you jump into something like resistance Pilates, you are now doing all of those moves in one. You're testing your balance, you're building up strength, you're adding in flexibility, you've got core working as well. You've got mind body, which is really important as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, because it really is that cognitive, improving your cognition as well, because that's really key.
And also there's some research, Julia, interestingly, I think 2015 about Alzheimer's, very early research to say that, resistance bands training may help slow the decline of Alzheimer's. It's early days, but it's nice to hear that there is some indication that we need to keep ourselves preoccupied with strength training and memorizing those moves and those patterns of moves to prevent chronic diseases such as Alzheimer's or dementia as we age.
Yeah, 100%. Because as we say, when you're talking about sort of things like Alzheimer's, and it's not just, it's the coordination as well, and your spatial awareness, because that can also go. So doing these movements makes you very aware of your body, where your body is in your space, in time. Yeah. And I guess your vision, your peripheral vision, because you're going to have, I've not taken part in Tai Chi or anything like that. Maybe I'll take it up. Is sort of being fully aware of your surroundings. So then, in my mind, so correct me if I'm wrong, if you're very aware of your body, where it is, your surroundings, where you are, you're less likely to sort of have those little falls and those trips?
Absolutely. And we call it,
as well. It's going to be automated.
yes, we call it proprioception, and you've probably heard of the word as well from your background. It is really important that we keep our joints moving, we keep our muscles attuned to those joints, so that we have that feedback through our sensory system back to our brain. So our motor system can coordinate it through the cerebellum, which does a lot of coordination and balance work as well. It's really important. So in some of the moves we do, we reach up, and when we reach up, I say lift your head up and look at your hand, look at your arm when it's going up there. Turn your head and follow that arm as it goes behind you, because I want to make people take their eyes off the floor and look at where their limbs are going. Now, those who are really quite confident about it all may actually close their eyes while they're doing the moves. Now, if you close your eyes, that's a sensory input, a major sensory input that's actually removed. Therefore, your joints are working harder to work out your awareness in space. So that's really important to have that. And as you say, to prevent the falls as we age. With those statistics you came up with earlier, it's a big deal. If you fall and you're older and you've got osteoporosis and all these other things, there is a chance you can get, other failures that follow on with it in hospital. So if you start early on, fantastic. Some of the younger ones might want to do aerobic, which is great. Some of the older ones might want to do the mind-body component. And we do have an aerobic version as well for the younger ones, which will be coming out shortly.
Okay, I just wanted to touch on as well, just take us back a little bit, because I can see this is going to build someone's confidence a lot.
Yes.
So I know you did your thesis on, pain-related fear of movement, and that just suddenly came to my mind. Actually, do people, before they become proficient at this, is there an element of what, especially if they've gone through a bad injury or a stroke or something like that, it's that fear of pain, that when they're going to move, it's going to make things worse. Have you ever come across this, and how has what you're doing really helped alleviate that?
No, it's a very good question. So what we found was that people who had a higher fear of movement, what we call kinesiophobia, fear of movement, they started off at a baseline with, and there was there was the spectrum, and at the end of the spectrum was a high population, well, not a high population. There was a group of people that were scoring quite high on fear of movement, and then we did the rehab, and then we did a bit of behavioural therapy with those who. So we had the control group, which do normal rehab. Then we had an intervention group that did a bit of behavioural therapy to help them on the way and get their head round injuries and how to accept them and how to move. And the people that had the most significant change post rehab were those who actually had the highest pain related fear of movement. They did the best, and that was a very interesting finding. So it is important that we let people know that actually it's okay to move. It's okay to feel a bit of pain, as long as it's not a pain that's going to aggravate things and worsen. Chronic pain we can work through, and a lot of time in rehab we say no pain, no gain. It's a very widely used phrase, and sometimes it's used inappropriately for an acute injury. So we wouldn't do it with acute injuries, but chronic injuries where you can't really move your arm because you've had an old injury there's no harm in taking your arm up here, having a bit of pain and not avoiding it, because actually as you work through that pain and you get stronger and it doesn't aggravate and have an inflammatory response the next day, then you'll get stronger through that arc of movement. That muscle will respond better. It will recruit other muscles around it to support it. And that pain will diminish the more you train and progress. So you start off with a yellow band, then you go to a red, then you go to a green, and then if you're really ninja, you go to blue and black. But it is important we reassure people that movement is medicine, and don't worry about a little bit of pain, and you will improve with it so long as your doctor and your therapist say it's okay to do these movements.
Yeah, because we are meant to be active beings. We are not meant to be completely sedentary. No. So, and mobility is really important. And, we were very mobile as we were kids, and then we seem to lose it as we get older. So having this is a really good way of reintroducing that in a nice, easy, progressive way. And like you say, it doesn't seem that it's going to necessarily cause as much inflammation because you're going through it in quite a gentle way as well.
Yeah, and I think I had some people saying from some reviews from doing the exercises that they feel it's safe It's a safe exercise where they don't feel under pressure to jump around or get on and off mat quickly. It's a safe, calming exercise, but they really feel they've done a workout at the end of it. I don't think there's anything else like that out there at the moment, where you can do multi-directional movement with bands attached to your hands and feet, and just get all the benefits from that movement. I don't think there's anything out there that has those benefits, that is safe, and that predominantly in the mind-body component we run. I think the average age, as I would say, that are joining my classes is 60 to 70, and they keep coming back. And it's brilliant to see, because they're the group of people who are at risk of these falls and all the rest of it. So I do say to them, if you do these moves, you will minimize those falls. Do what you can, and we adapt the course to everyone who's got different injuries and different conditions.
Yeah, and I think it's really nice to say, like, you have those special grips and hand controls, because it's having that sense of control of what you're doing as well.
Yeah,
which can alleviate that sort of fear of, oh, I'm going to fall, or oh, I'm going to hurt myself. No,
or let go of the band. Yeah, yeah, and people do have weaker grip. You've got as you age, the grip strength will go, and then they're worried about holding onto a band because it'll snap out of their hand. And a lot of people have had that happen, or their foot takes the pressure off the bottom of the band. It'll flick up and hit someone in the head. So it is safe in that respect to those exercises, and not worry about it.
And what, when people have going through your course, using these bands, what have been some of the surprises that they've achieved at the end of it? What they've been surprised, what they've been able to do? Have anyone sort of gone on and sort of taken up like a sport, or that they never thought they'd be able to, or an activity they never thought they'd be able to? Has anything like that happened?
No, I think what I'm finding is the reviews are very good, really quite surprising actually, and very encouraging. They feel like they're walking on air when they finished. They feel their mental, they feel refreshed. They feel invigorated by it at the end of it. I haven't had anyone come back and said, I can now go back to play badminton or anything like that. They might be, I don't know. But the immediate feedback I'm getting is that they can go up and down stairs more easily. They don't wobble around. They feel more confident going up and down hills, because we throw in a lot of quadriceps movements as well. So we're in the squat position, and I'll throw in those exercises as well. I'll throw in some balance work as well. So they feel confident in moving around, doing their shopping, getting in and out of the car, getting up and down the stairs. All these activities they're finding are much easier and stronger for things like DIY jobs and
practical everyday stuff.
All these things that they had pain. Yeah, absolutely. But I think a lot of them like the calming approach. A lot of them don't. A lot of them enjoy not, getting on a mat as well. They enjoy just being and standing without up and down on a mat. And of course, there are people that just really enjoy the mat exercises, which is fantastic. But this group, who are slightly older, quite enjoy not being on a mat, and that's come out in the comments as well. Yeah.
And do you find that people go on like a course with you? Is it kind of like they do so many weeks or months, or is it something that they just do generally, that just because they enjoy it and they want to do it every week or whatever?
Yeah, the courses, the classes I'm doing now are very busy. So I've got a class going on here where I live locally, which I run, and that's very popular. And I have the same attendees coming regularly all the time, which is great. And it's getting busier and busier. Now we're in September. Holiday season is, I'll probably have to put on another class. I'm also running classes down the road in Fareham and various clubs and spas, about 2 or 3 of them, and they're loving it. And they've got waiting lists of about 15, 20 people for a class when they already got 20 people in the class. So there's a lot of uptake with it, a lot of good media coming out of it now from those who I've done trial classes with there. And as a result, I'm now training instructors, because I can't do this all by myself. I need level 2 instructors who are gym instructors or personal trainers or healthcare professionals to step forward and contact me and say, I want to do resistance plyometry. It's a 1-day course. They get CPD points recognized by the Chartered Institute of Managing Sports and Physical Activities. That's CIMSPA. So they get 8 CPD points for attending the course. So I can't keep on top of this. I need help to get it out there. And I want to get it out nationally and share this concept with people. So that's where we're going with it. But the feedback is really, really quite encouraging.
Well, it's good to see that you are busy with it, because that shows that people are now really taking their health and fitness much more seriously, and really are quite more proactive about sort of taking that action to improve their life as well. Because I think it's really, it's important to understand that, like you say, once you get past a certain age, 50, 60, life begins again, but in just a different way, and you can have as much fun as you like and just look after your health. And wellness should be, health is your wealth,
Yes, exactly. Yeah, but the if you like the wellness, the holistic, there's a lot of wellness and holistic businesses going on there. It's a huge industry, and it's getting bigger. And since COVID, a lot of people are now obviously quite happy to exercise from home if they need to. I'm finding though more people want to go back to a class because you've got the community setting, which is really important for a lot of people to have that community setting. But it's a huge industry now, and I'm finding that I'm almost not wanting to challenge, but I want to I want to come into the exercise industry where people who are doing Pilates and yoga and all these other wonderful holistic exercises, I want to introduce them something different, to say, actually, if you want to do something different, and a lot of people have actually said to me in your previous question, what I like about it, it's very different. It's nothing's out there like this at all. And I want to say, well, let's come out of the 80s. Let's move into the 2020s.
Let's take the leg warming off.
Let's go further forward. Let's use resistance bands in an adaptable way where we can be agile with them and move around. We can do shadow boxing them. We can do all sorts of things with this, kickboxing with these bands. Let's move out in. Let's move something different into the industry. So I'm asking those people who are in the business to have a look at this and to come forward and say, look, we'd like to have a part of this. It is, it is designed by a physio. I like to think I know a little bit about movement, and I think it's gone down very well to start off with. So yeah, it's exciting times ahead.
No, it'd be good to see it in gyms and your personal trainers using them as well. Because I've been going to gyms for years, and definitely the older generation are coming more and more into that fitness space as well. Yeah. So I think, having more options for them other than just machines or dumbbells and barbells is a bonus. But I know some people will be listening to this on video, some will be listening to it on audio, but have you got some in front of you so you can show people what they actually look like?
Yes, of course. Let me just get you
Can people buy these just independently, or do they have to be part of like a group training session? Or
so they have they can be done independently, so you can do one-to-one with them. And some of the clinicians are doing it one-to-one now on spinal injuries and on stroke survivors. And of course, you can do one-to-one at home because I have some online exercises on YouTube. And we've got a few classes on there. I think we've got about 6 classes in the calm mind body component, a couple of classes in the aerobic, and 1 or 2 on the mat. So essentially what we've got here, so I've designed this product, and what you've got here is a glove. It's a palm glove, so you don't have to worry about jewelry for ladies, because when you put a glove on, you've got to take a lot of jewelry off, and they don't want to do that. So it's a glove here, which is made of neoprene, and you just literally, this is a right hand glove, you just put your hand in there like that, wrap the Velcro strap around the bottom of your wrist.
And into the arm,
And then you've got the hook here, which I've designed as well, which is in Chichester, which is a very lightweight hook. And it's not a carabiner, it's very light. You just literally put it on the glove and clip it down like that.
It's very secure.
Very secure. It just clips in, it's not coming off. That, you don't feel any pressure through the web of the hand here, because all the pull is being down there with the band, with the strap being a sort of a bit of a buttress. Comes down here. And then you have different levels of height. So if you're tall, the hook will attach onto this top ring. And if you're short, it'll on this bottom ring. So people from 5 foot to 5'5" will be on here. The top ring will cope for people between 6'2" and 6'5". And then most people are on this sort of band here, which is about 5'6" to 9 on this band here. And so we're on here. And this then is a loop that goes around your foot. So you just put it over your trainer. We prefer trainers to be worn with it if we can, because you've got better grip on it. And you can just adjust it to go around your foot through this loop here. And then you can just, once it's on your foot, okay, you just put down the Velcro tab here to secure it so it doesn't slip off under your foot. And that goes under your foot in the medial arch. And this is attached to your hand up here. So imagine that's on my foot. I'm now doing slow time under tension movements here with the band. And we got different colors as well. So we got yellow, which is the lightest band. They're all the same length. You just clip off one color here and you just put on another color. So the yellow is the lightest, which most of my beginners will use. And then you go on to the red. And then we have a green band as well, which is more resistance than the red. And then we have blue and black, which is very rarely used. And that's essentially it. Designed it, patented it. So it's got an international patent now.
That's amazing.
So yeah, it's been a lot of, we've invested quite a lot into it.
How long did it take you to sort of go from sort of coming up with the idea to actually having the product and now getting where you are now? You're training people, you're doing classes.
Yeah, 5 years.
5 years.
I would say 5 years.
Considerable time.
3 years probably be doing more of the research and development, the R&D process, having it tested, safety tested, having it design registered in Europe and the UK, and now with an international patent. Lots of samples coming through. Started off with samples that were too tight in the thumb glove or gloves that impeded on ladies' jewelry that they had to take off. All sorts of prototypes that I had to go through. So a long time consuming process. And it's just me doing the business, trying to be a physio. And I'm not a businessman, but I'm learning pretty quickly how to get it out there. Marketing, I'm just doing it all from home, really. So, but it's been a real journey for me, and I've really enjoyed it.
Good. Well, it's very much worth it. And I'm sure there's going to be many people who will now be switching on to this and saying, wow, I never thought I'd be able to do that. And actually, improve their health, improve their recovery rate. And like we were saying earlier, keep their independence, because I think that's what's really important as you're getting older. I mean, I, for one, would want to lose my independence if I can. So that's really important. So if people really want to find out, actually, before we get to that,
yes,
what are your top tips? Well, give us 5 of your top tips for people who are wanting to improve their mobility, sort of recover, rehabilitate, whatever it may be. What are your 5 top tips?
I think the important thing is because everyone's really busy in today's world. If you're fit and you're going to the gym and you're an avid gym attender, there's not a lot of advice I can give you because you're on it. And they're very easy. It's like the military, you've got someone who's into their fitness. They get on with it and it's great. You can advise them on lifting and all the rest of it. But my top tip is that everybody should do something every day, even if it's just 15 minutes. Even if you can go walking, just walk for 15 minutes and get out of that desk and just do something simple. If you don't want to do a gym exercise, walk, because we are bipedal. We are designed to walk. Flexibility, of course, the normal stretches you can do, such as quadricep stretching that everyone can do, on just basic stretching, quadriceps, hamstrings, maybe slowly bending down with your back and straightening your back and extending your back as you come out of a chair. So little stretching exercises daily, especially if you've been in one poor position all day long, driving or whatever. A lumbar roll behind your seat would be good for that sort of thing as well if you're a bit stiff. So flexibility is really important. Strength, really important, because, as we said, we are losing muscle mass if we're sedentary and we're not doing much. And as we age, it's bad. So even if you're, I'm not suggesting go and do heavy weights, but just carrying maybe some heavy bags either side, like a farmer's carry, up and down from the car when you're doing shopping, the shoulders back, engage core, picking things up correctly using your glutes while you're lifting, not using your back. These all work quads, glutes, and maintain that strength. Carrying the bags will get your shoulders going, your abs and your chest as well. So strength work is very important. You can do things like, and there's lots of videos out there on YouTube and on advising people what exercises you can do to strengthen calves, back, even if it's a wall sit where you push your back against a wall and just do a squat against the wall. And older people might just want to get up and down from a chair, just in a controlled manner, in a lower chair if they can, as they progress. Cardiovascular as well, that's going to come obviously with just some hill work or something like that when you're walking as well. Just get out of breath a couple of times a week where you can get your heart rate up as well. And I think that's important to do. but most importantly, enjoy what you're doing.
Yeah.
You've got to enjoy it. No one, if you don't enjoy the exercise you're doing or the activity, that you've been assigned, it's not good. You're not going to do it. So you've got to have something you relish and you want to really do. That's important.
Yeah, I think getting the joy, having the fun, and that is something I think you are bringing to what you do. I think is people find it fun, and as well as the social, which is another key part of being fit and healthy, is having a good social life.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's really it. I think in a nutshell, to just be active, and as we say, movement is medicine, and try and just say, right, I will do something, and it might only be 5 minutes on the first day because you're so busy, but I am going to try a few little things, and then as you enjoy it, it'll build up to 10, then 15. And then you might end up doing 2 half-hour sessions a week if you want to, which involve all of them: a bit of cardiovascular, a bit of strength, a bit of flexibility, mobility. So, but don't start taking big steps. Start off small and incrementally, and then go from there.
Yeah. So if people wanted to get in touch with you, find out more, or take part in some of your classes, where can they go?
Well, they can find my website, which is resistancepalachi.com, which is where all my media is on. So you've got Instagram there, which is at resistancepalachi, which is PILATCHI. And then so go on there and follow me and see what we're doing, because you'll get a visual of what we're trying to do there. And there is an address you can contact me on, which is info@resistancepalachi.com as well, if you want to send a message. Or if you're an instructor, for example, and you're interested in doing a course, I'll be running courses in the local area in Hampshire starting this month. And I've already trained some instructors now, and we're looking to expand that program, certainly the Hampshire area, and then hopefully get it out more nationally as gyms and studios, fitness studios, prick up their ears a bit. So that's the way to get hold of me. And email me, message me, DM me on social media, and I'll get back to you. I'll be delighted to share it with you.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant. They can just ask you any questions, any concerns they've got, or if they're unsure of anything at all. It's just better to talk to you first and find out, and let's go into this feeling completely happy and confident that it's the right thing for you as well.
Absolutely. And there's things like the YouTube channel, which is connected to the website, which shows you some of the classes we're doing, gives you an idea. So if you do want to buy some bands, there's a shop on the website, and what I can do, Julia, is give you a discount code after this. So those who are interested might want to buy a set and then go on and do them from home. When I do the exercises at home, I literally put on some earphones because the dog might be barking or there might be something going on outside, and I'll just do some moves just to my own music and do my Pilates moves in the kitchen. And my wife will walk in, what's going on? I'll say, I can't even hear it because I've my headphones on. But it's very calming, and I'll just do 10 minutes of that after a busy day, and I'll probably do some later on this afternoon. And I've had shoulder surgery. That's less painful now because I'm doing more and more of this. I've got a chronic back. I've got a bit of an arthritic knee, but I'm keeping moving. So regardless of the injuries, keep moving.
That's it. Keep moving. Carry on and keep moving.
Carry on.
Okay, be interested. No, do send me if you've got a discount code, and we can pop that in the show notes as well. So people can, and we can pop it on the social media as well when we post this. So
yeah, that would be great. And follow me on Instagram and get it out there. I mean, and any big studios, give me a shout if you want me to come along and demonstrate the whole thing to you, and we'll see where we go.
Well, there you go. Who needs another? That's your options. Great option. Go for it.
Absolutely.
Do it now. Do it now before it's too late.
Yeah, exactly.
Great Christmas present, because we'll have Christmas soon. So.
Well, exactly, and get ready, because everyone's got that surge, haven't they, in January. December gets a bit quiet with the exercise season because everyone's too busy shopping and preparing their parties and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
But come January, if you get the Christmas present in the stocking,
yeah,
you're ready to go for January. And hopefully we'll have classes nearby once the instructors go, and you can actually join a class. And if we get a chain in gyms involved as well, or studios, studios are more into, fitness studios would be the ones rather than gyms with equipment. Then it could be more accessible. But definitely from home, just put on the bands, put on some music. The music's in the background anyway, so you want to put it on, and just do the moves, and you'll feel a lot better. And we're just selling them online at the moment and doing quite well with that. And then we've got a business to business set up with those students that want to use it, which they're now doing.
Brilliant. Great. Thank you, Sean. Look, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you today and finding all about what you're doing, Resistance Pilates, and of course, your own story. So I know a lot of people are going to benefit from this a great deal, but thank you for joining me today. And thank you for everybody who have been listening as well. And we hope to see you here next time on Unleash Your Inner Athlete. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Julia. Goodbye.